question. So Arka, can you talk a bit about exactly what is a Lydian and why is this a powerful new technology?
Absolutely, Jennifer. And we invented at Deco and patented Lydian assets, or simply Lydians, basically to solve exactly the problem that you described. That is, that Lydians are basically just a new digital asset format that lets companies and people discover, extract, and price the latent inherent value of their data, and also enable transactions and monetization of that value without losing control of that underlying data. To be a bit more specific, a Lydian is just a data container or a data structure that can be filled with digital data according to very specific rules. These rules are used both to create the Lydian as well as to prove the value and utility of the data within the Lydian to those who want to use and transact it, aka the Lydian's market. Now, to put it very simply, if a Lydian container has digital data within, then it signifies that that data is useful and valuable, and the container itself provides proof and utility of this value. Rather, proof of this utility and of the value. Now, any type of raw data that has provable market value can be packaged and transformed into Lydians. Now, the concept of Lydians came partially from their namesake, which is actually a type of vessel used in the ancient Mediterranean, and is actually quite useful in forming an intuitive understanding of what Lydian assets actually do. Jennifer, you actually developed the branding of Lydians based on the similarity between these ancient Lydian vessels and our modern Lydians. Could you explain this relationship to help our audience understand what Lydians do a bit better?
Absolutely. So these ancient Lydians are essentially small containers used in the Iron Age Mediterranean kingdom of Lydia. So this is kind of what we would now think of as Western Turkey, to store and ship rare and valuable goods such as perfumes, luxury cosmetics, a lot of other luxury items, unguents and creams kind of things coming from that region. So essentially your luxury wellness product category in modern parlance. And so these kind of products would be packed into these little containers. And by virtue of being in this container, it would signal to tradespeople and to consumers, even if maybe the tradespeople middlemen didn't know or weren't supposed to know exactly what was in these containers. It would signal that something of really high value was in these containers, and it had to go be traded and sold in certain places. So just to note, the people of Lydia were real economic innovators of their time. They were actually the first people to develop metal coinage. And they had a really vast trading network. So they traded as far as what we would now call Northern Africa and Southern Spain, all the way from the other side of the Mediterranean Sea. And a lot of the really high value luxury goods were traveling around in these Lydian containers. So just as an ancient Lydian container signals, hey, I contain some really valuable special kind of product, once we quantize and containerize data into our modern Lydian asset container, it signifies that this container holds data that is valuable and useful and important for a business purpose. And the data that we package into a Lydian, therefore, can come from any sector. So it can be healthcare data, it can be agriculture data, climate data, gaming data. We'll talk about some of the use cases in the market already in these sectors that are currently generating valuable Lydians. Any kind of data that has a well-defined utility for solving a business problem or completing a business function. And it's interesting to note that these Lydian containers back in the day, just by virtue of the container alone, it's thought that they spurred a lot of the trade of these luxury items across the region. So similarly, the existence of Lydian assets will spur the growth of controlled and transparent transactions of useful data.